Quick video on David Price versus Beato Costa Junior. Just been discussing this fight with my mate Rob via Twitter. Interesting one. I think for me, Costa Junior brings quite a deceptive record to the ring. I think he's 14-2. But all you need to realise is that the guys he's been in with and beaten are pretty terrible. You know, he's been fighting the domestic level competition in Brazil, and he's been going through them. I don't view Christian Hammer as a very good heavyweight. I personally wouldn't class him as a top 20 heavyweight in the world. But if you watch the Christian Hammer Beato Costa fight, and I did, I certainly wouldn't recommend it. It's not the most fascinating viewing spectacle. It really is one of the most awfully one-sided fights you'll ever see. Costa Junior purely turns up to that fight to come and survive. And yeah, Christian Hammer, who in my opinion is very limited, beats him up for 12 rounds, probably wins every round. I then also watched the Joseph Parker Costa Junior fight. And Joseph Parker, young guy, early 20s, absolutely destroys him in a few rounds. You know, leaves him chilling KO on the ground, like a really heavy knockout. Now, David Price, I'm not saying I'm utterly convinced by him. I'm not suddenly going to suggest that he's become a master boxer overnight. But this Costa Junior is very hittable. And if there's one thing that Price does bring to the ring, it's his power. You know, for me this is a fight that ends very, very early. Costa Junior, he doesn't really bring much to these big occasions offensively. He's a bit of a sitting target. He's quite stationary. And Joseph Parker has shown that if you can punch, you can knock this guy out. I expect Price to do that job. In terms of who David Price has actually beaten, I appreciate he probably hasn't beaten anyone in the top 25 himself. But there's names on his record like John McDermott, Sam Sexton, Audley Harrison, Andre Parla. And for what it's worth, I think these guys, you know, the guys I've just mentioned probably beat Costa Junior. You know, he really isn't much of a fighter. He's got a padded record, and he seems to be a guy who's happy to be used as an opponent these days, as we saw against Christian Hammer and against Joseph Parker. I just don't think he's got much ambition. He seems to be a guy who likes turning up for the payday, and I think the second that big pricey lands on him, it could be game over. Let me know your thoughts on this fight. Hopefully David Price takes care of business even. Hopefully there's no issues with his hand, and hopefully he moves on to bigger, better things, and we see him in some interesting fights in 2015. Thanks for watching. Comments below as always. Many thanks.